we have increased the conviction rate for all acts of violence from 38% to 91%.
As Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza announced his campaign for re-election this fall, he touted percentages showing his office's conviction rate for certain serious felony crimes was way up from years past. KXAN investigator Avery Travis had already been digging into those percentages for weeks.
And Avery, the DA first presented this sharp increase in the conviction rate during an interview for another KXAN investigation, right?
Yes, the numbers he provided at that point caught our attention. And as we dug deeper, we learned it's complicated. Even the DA says after our reporting, his campaign is now reevaluating how best to measure the conviction rate he's putting out to the public. Travis County voters are starting to see more about the district attorney's wins in cases of violent crime in emails, tweets, and on Jose Garza's campaign website.
It comes up in campaigns.
And the president of the Association of Prosecuting Attorneys says he's not surprised. Still, David Laban explained, the public would need to know more about exactly how a conviction rate was calculated to understand what it really means. We asked the Travis County District Attorney's Office for the raw data and the formula behind its 91% claim. Here's what we found. In 2022, the DA's office received and ultimately closed 2,165 cases of violent sexual or weapons-related offenses. They compared that to all violent crime convictions obtained that year, regardless of the year it received each case. A calculation that does come out to 91%, but also includes around 1,500 convictions for cases received before 2022.
I've never seen that before, and it's not how I would do it.
Criminologist Alex Piccaro's been working with crime and court data for more than 25 years, and last year, President Biden appointed him to serve as director of the Bureau of Justice Statistics. He says when calculating a conviction rate, it's important to measure the outcome of the same batch of cases over time. So, taking the total number of cases received in a year and seeing how many of those resulted in a conviction. For example, remember the 2,165 cases received in 2022 and ultimately closed? 755 of those cases were closed by conviction, a conviction rate of 35%. We brought this to the DA. How did you all come to the conclusion that we're going to measure this against this?
Yeah, what we were looking for was a formula that captured the reality that we were seeing in the raw data. And what we were seeing in the raw data is it looked to us like our prosecutors were incredibly effective and efficient. But what we are also seeing is that we are securing a comparable number of convictions, even though the number of cases coming in has declined.
Garza explained his office was obtaining similar numbers of convictions for these violent offenses each year, in spite of outside factors such as court closures during the pandemic and a backlog of cases to work through.
It has nothing to do with a conviction rate, which is an entirely different issue.
And these factors are just part of why the Association of Prosecuting Attorneys actually recommends offices avoid using these rates as a measure of success.
It doesn't show you the whole of what the situation was.
Still, Laban says if an office does calculate a conviction rate,
you can't take a case from 2018 and use it as a conviction in 2023 unless you're using other cases from 2018 and following them longitudinally. Otherwise, you're engaged in very much fuzzy math.
Will you make any changes going forward about how you approach obtaining a conviction rate?
Yeah, let me say in a number of spaces, our office is still working to understand what is the data that is most valuable to the community that we serve. But we're committed to being as transparent as we can.
After more than a month of pressing the office about the claims and following our conversations with the district attorney, we discovered his campaign website no longer reflected the 91% conviction rate for violent crimes. So we followed up with the DA about the change. Here's what he had to say.
You know, at the end of the day, we are attorneys, not statisticians. And so we take the presentation of data very seriously. And so, as I said, KXAN presented us with a couple of different formulas. And so we just want to work through those and figure out which makes the most sense, or if there's another way to present this data that is clear and transparent and that captures all of the factors that we're seeing.
We also requested this data and these statistics from other Texas district attorneys. Some said it's not a stat they regularly publicize, and most said we'd have to request the number through a public information request.
Avery, is there a national standard requiring prosecutors to calculate these conviction rates in a certain way?
There isn't a national standard. That's something that Alex Piquero tried to address during his time as the head of the Bureau of Justice Statistics. He actually submitted a report to President Biden recommending more streamlined and standardized data systems for policing, but also in court systems, really so researchers, journalists like us, and the public could all better compare statistics like this.
All right, Avery, thank you very much. And you can explore our interactive breakdown of the numbers in this report. Just go to this story in the investigative section of KXAN.com.